Whenever Nintendo wants to experiment with a new idea or make a gimmick into an entire game, they always seem to slap Kirby in as their go-to character for testing. It makes sense. Kirby is literally a pink ball with nubs, and he's fairly flexible when it comes to what he can do. That doesn't mean there aren't clearly defined Kirby games. As I'm sure you know, Kirby games typically involve platforming, eating enemies, and taking their powers to get through levels, typically with the goal being to get Kirby's food back or beat up King Dedede. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror is similar to a regular Kirby title. This time around, a shadow version of Meta Knight manages to slice Kirby into 4 copies of himself and shatter the entrance to the Mirror World. It's up to the 4 Kirbys to traverse the Mirror World and locate all 8 broken pieces of the mirror to fix the mess. Amazing Mirror looks very colorful. The levels just pop, with Kirby and all the enemies being full of life. But wait a tick. This isn't Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. This is Nightmare in Dreamland, the game that came before, which was a remake of Kirby's Adventure on the NES. While there is some new here, a lot of Amazing Mirror recycles visuals from Nightmare in Dreamland, to the point that it's kind of lazy. Kirby's look and animations in this game are used in several other handheld titles as well. If Amazing Mirror is your first foray into the GBA titles, or even the Kirby series itself, then this isn't something you're going to notice. But for players like myself, it feels a bit lazy to use nearly every piece of Nightmare in Dreamland over again for this title. There are some new animations, as they have to go with the powers, as well as backgrounds, enemies, and locations, but the majority of the game reuses prior assets, all very blatantly. The Kirby series is known for tunes that try to make players happy while playing and exciting when it needs to be. Good to know that Amazing Mirror is no exception to this standard. The soundtrack has the same memorable tunes players have come to expect, even if some of it and the sound effects are also reused from Nightmare in Dreamland. Amazing Mirror's music has a very light and airy sound to it, similar to the carefree nature of the series. Amazing Mirror contains what you'd expect from a normal Kirby affair, which we talked about earlier. Jump and float around levels, fight enemies, eat them for their powers, the works. However, Amazing Mirror offers a big twist in its level design. Instead of the typical hold right and jump a lot style that is the norm for most Kirby titles, Amazing Mirror lends itself to a more Metroidvania style layout. Kirby's signature claim to fame is of course the different powers he gets from eating enemies. Amazing Mirror takes after Superstar with different moves to most of the powers that you absorb. New powers are introduced as well, such as the Smash power, which features all of Kirby's B attacks from the Super Smash Bros. Series. The powers themselves have a large amount of variety and uses, allowing Kirby to progress to hidden areas in different parts of the world. Kirby games are chock full of secrets, whether it's a hidden path that has to be accessed through a certain power like the hammer or a switch that will open up new areas. Kirby is no stranger to encouraging the player to explore and venture out. Amazing Mirror is completely built on this notion and can be cumbersome for some players. The map is a necessity for navigating your way through Amazing Mirror's surprisingly expansive and vast world. Note that each time when you enter an area, you can tell whether or not a door is new through the star on top. If it's shining, then it's new, and it just may take you to somewhere else. The more you slowly strip away what Amazing Mirror has to offer, the more you begin to realize where you need to go and where certain items are hidden. Finding the maps mentioned before in giant treasure chests also helps show where players need to go to find the boss and where the doors spread throughout each section will lead. Here's the thing. The amount of complexity is normally foreign to the Kirby series, even if all this seems fairly simple to comprehend. In fact, it is. But the game never actually takes the time to explain any of it to you. Finding your way around without the maps can be frustrating, and Amazing Mirror does a poor job of giving you a sense of direction if you're getting close to those coveted unlocks or not. This is where you'll have to give the game a lot of time and sometimes patience. The further along Kirby progresses though, the clearer objectives become. For most players, it's how long they're willing to stick with Amazing Mirror to reach that point. Because of the heavy exploration and lack of direction, this may occur sooner for some than others. Amazing Mirror is very much a multiplayer game. The problem is, I think I played the multiplayer maybe one time, and that was only with one other person. I'm sure Amazing Mirror is a stellar co-op title, but I can't say I've ever gotten to try it. Instead, there are 3 other Kirbys that are wandering around the world on their own the whole time. While it's not often, there are puzzles that require some cooperation. You can call the other Kirbys with your trusty cell phone to summon them to your location instantly. Unfortunately, the AI is about as ignorant as possible. Trying to coordinate a Switch puzzle with them is way more complicated than it needs to be. You're better off trying to speedrun it yourself. On the flip side, these guys are relentless, even suicidal about killing bosses, and will throw everything they have just to take them down. Typically, this includes throwing their own life away as well, but this way bosses pass by in the blink of an eye. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror isn't perfect. The lack of direction is sure to frustrate new players, and series veterans may find the level design to deviate just a bit too much from prior installments of the series. But give it some time, and Amazing Mirror will give you a stellar title for your GBA, even if it recycles some of the same tricks we've seen before.